I am thrilled and honored to present this North Star Award to my mentor and my friend, Hugh Hogan.
I want to start by shortening my speech by about 3 paragraphs. So we got that out of the way. So thank you very much. Thanks to Yvonne for that incredibly sweet introduction. Like Maggie said, I'm so proud to stand with African communities together, with new immigrant community empowerment, NICE, with Rashad, who is just an incredible new generation civil rights leader and racial justice leader, and my dear friend and longtime comrade, Maggie Williams. I was supposed to be up here alone, but these 2 ladies have grown up here at this event. So this is Jane Hogan Moffett, and this is Rachel Hogan Moffett, and they asked if they could come up with me, so I said sure. I want to say thank you to my beloved colleagues on the board. I miss you every day. To the grantee and donor communities, it's different, but it's not the same without you. And to the staff, who clearly, if we can get to just under $1 million, come on, people. We can do, come on. I tried for 13 years to get tonight to $1 million. I failed. Jen has gotten us to almost $1 million. Show Abe the light. Tonight, the money we've helped raise will quickly be turned into grants, training, and other support to hard-hitting grassroots activists who are fearless in the face of continued gross inequalities. You can tell I didn't practice this year. Injustices and now daily assaults on our bedrock democratic institutions. I also want to thank my new work family at the Ameringen Foundation for being here with me tonight. For 65 years, the Van Ameringen family has remained steadfastly and unabashedly committed to taking on the deep stigma of mental illness and the continued lack of a comprehensive, compassionate mental health system in this country. The challenge and stigma of mental illness hit my family when I was in the 2nd grade. My brother was diagnosed with bipolar disease. In the 4 decades since Bill had his first breakdown and tried, fortunately unsuccessfully, to take his own life, so much has changed on the mental health front. And the Van Ameringen Foundation has been at the forefront of funding those efforts. At the same time, yes, indeed. At the same time, I have come to see firsthand in the last 7 months how little has changed and how much our society continues to shun and fail those with mental illness. And whether it is the fight to end mass incarceration, the scourge of domestic violence, or the unconscionable level of homelessness in this world, mental health is at the heart of these struggles. And the efforts to overcome them are being led by groups funded by North Star and by the Van Ameringen Foundation. As I finished up my 13-year tenure at North Star Fund last summer, and in the months since, I've reflected a lot on what I've learned and all that so many of us in this room accomplished together. One lesson that I learned anew was that we on the progressive left are at our best when we solve concrete problems. It is, of course, essential to challenge our own and each other's privilege and oppressions. But it ultimately doesn't amount to much if we're not challenging each other in the context of really changing things for the most disenfranchised among us. If we spend too much time being deferential to the opposition, worrying too much about our language and not allowing each other to be fallible, instead of making real and concrete change in the systems that oppress us, we risk what we have now: shameless demagogues and right-wing populists willing to summon our nation's worst demons instead of our best spirits. As I close this chapter of my life and career, I transition out feeling incredibly lucky for having had this opportunity to get to know so many of you and to have been a catalyst for those fighting to overcome the racism and deep economic injustice that remains all too prevalent in our world. For a guy like me, it's pretty darn amazing to have had the chance to carry on the legacy of activists like Frederick Douglass, who's no longer actually with us, Angela Davis, Dorothy Day, Sylvia Rivera, Daniel Berrigan, Dolores Huerta, and so many other more recent, powerful, but unsung organizers and activists in communities across this great city and now this region. As this may be the last time I grace this stage, I have two final things to say. First, Jen Ching deserves all the love and support that we can possibly give her. To everyone in our donor community, which can be everyone in this room, please don't duck her emails, her texts, or wishes to have a coffee or share a meal with you. She needs you, and North Star Fund's grantee communities need her to be successful. Lastly, I turn to my loved ones at table 11, including Larry and Shelley, honorary Soul family members. To my friends and Soul family here with me tonight, I love you and thank you with fierce abandon from the bottom of my heart. And to my two beautiful baby girls, Jane and Rachel, I know you're 2 minutes older. As Papa tells you each night at bedtime, I was never happier than the day you came into this world. I love you with all my heart, and no matter what, and what's inside and how you treat others is what's the most important. And you better not ever vote Republican. We need you and your generation to save the planet from my generation. Thank you all, and may the force be with us in the months and years ahead. Love you.